Hello to everyone. I hope that you had a nice... It's not hearable? Okay. Okay. I hope that you enjoyed your lunch. And it's a pleasure to introduce you next session, defining call takers question tree. And I hope that you will enjoy it, because at least I'm very interested in the topic, because I'm from Estonia. And last year we made a huge difference. We decided to change our question tree from one possibility is that algorithm-based question tree to criteria-based, but it's something what we can't do only by one thing. We have to make changes from all the chain, and it's very good to introduce you our colleagues from Sweden and Finland, and they can share you their experiences. And I hope that you have questions, and if you have, please keep them, write down or something else, because the question session is after the two presentations. So I hope that most of you are already here, and we can start with our colleague Björn from Sweden. And
thank you. Thank you. Oh, are you applauding me or her? Okay, welcome to the popular after lunch hour. My name is not Martin Edlund, as announced in the program. I am Björn Skoglund from the same company, though, SOS Alarm in Sweden. And I'll give you an overview of how we developed and how we use the question, call takers question tree. But at first, I will start with some words about SOS Alarm. Who are we and what do we do? And I think SOS Alarm is quite unique in that aspect that we are really a company. But we are not a private company. We are owned by the Swedish state and the municipalities and regions. So we are actually owned by the authorities doing the 112, answering for the emergency medical service and fire rescue service. And we are responsible for handling 112, answering all 112 calls on the single emergency number 112 in Sweden. So it's always SOS Alarm that answer the 112 number. We do most of the dispatching also for both emergency medical services and fire rescue services. And we have about 900 PSAP operators, call takers and dispatchers who deals with the 112 calls. And we started in 1973, so we have about 50 years of experience. The first PSAP was opened in 1974, actually. What we do? Well, we have the 112 task, the mission given to us by the Swedish government. And I mean, I think you will know most of these, I mean, fire rescue services, ambulances, police, and so on. We also, though, have social welfare services and a priest on duty. So, I mean, that's not common maybe in all of Europe. We also do other things regarding public warning systems. We have our own crisis preparedness management service who deals with things coming into 112 that seems to be a crisis. We can alert competent authorities about this. But I will not go into that aspect. I'll give you just a short excerpt from the Swedish agreement concerning the emergency. And as you see, we are responsible for identifying, is this an emergency case? And if it is, who or which help will be dispatched to this incident or accident or what it is. That's just a short to give us a hunch about SOS Alarm. And now I will go into more of the development of the call takers question tree, or I would like actually to more, it's a question tree that leads to decisions. So is it a call takers decision tree or a call takers decision tree? I mean, depending on the answers, you put to the caller, you will get answers that we will use to, well, see what shall we do, what priority, which resources will be dispatched, and so on. And in the beginning, there was nothing. But on the 7th day, we started actually to see that there was a need of something to hold on to. I myself is a call taker from the beginning. This was in 1988. There was nothing but education, training, written instructions, and that was good. I mean, of course, but if I compare myself to other call takers, I don't think we did the same prioritization, the same judgment on every case. So this is a way, a call taker question tree is a way of handling cases on the same level. So we did a first step, and the first step was actually a manual booklet to do emergency medical triage. So this was 31 chapters with questions. This is on an allergic reaction. So it was questions that could lead to maybe a priority 1 or priority 2 or priority 3 or non-priority at all. And this was, I mean, we used this for like 10 years, something like that, before switching to digitization instead. And we developed it. This is an SOS Alarm product, but together with the Swedish Medical Society, is a society of physicians, of doctors, medical doctors. So it was not our own product, and it was originally from a concept used in both the US and in Norway. But then, as I said, we went to the digitization, and sorry, this microphone is on its loose. We integrated in our CAD system, so it went more user-friendly, actually. Instead of sitting and using a booklet, you could have it all in your computer. And this is an example of the fire rescue service question tree. So we developed it together with fire rescue services. Not all of them. We have 290 municipalities with their own rescue services at this time, so we couldn't include them all. But we did use a number of them to be a reference group and influence on this. And I think one important thing is that you will never be ready with a call taker question or decision tree. It will always need to adjust or develop in many kinds. And I will come to this when I now go into how we use the call takers tree. There's no watch. How am I doing? Okay. This is the 112 index-based, the basic question tree. Oh, sorry, there it is. So this covers most of different kinds of happenings, of accidents. It could be fire rescue services, it could be emergency medical services, calling the police, forwarding calls to the police. And we did this, I mean, this basic leads into other question trees. And there you have, what are you supposed to do with different kinds of cases? And this is based on experience. And one thing we did adjust is this, drones. We have had a number of overflows of drones on military installations and nuclear plants and so on. So we are actually monitoring every drone that is reported to the police. And to use the basic question tree, we need some things. We need the index type. What type of case is it? We need, well, this is a short overview how to handle. This is before we go into the real, if it's an emergency medical or fire rescue situation. So this is more of a generic tree. But I will show you now the fire rescue service tree. And there we need the municipality, and we need what has happened. And in this case, it's a road traffic accident with several vehicles. And when we got this, we do have a specific action plan for this municipality. So here we can, we have multiple rescue organs listening in. We have ambulance, we have rescue. So they are listening in on this call, as you can see here. And we continue the interview. What kind of road is it? This is a motorway. It's an incident or accident with 2 vehicles or more. And then when we have this cleared, we do get the question tree. So here you can, this is in Swedish of course, but here we can ask more questions about, well, is the caller still on scene? How many people are involved? Is there people, are the people still inside the crashed vehicles, and so on. And this leads to more and more questions or more advice for this specific situation. And you can see here, depending on if it's yes or no answers, this is the magnitude. It's in the middle right now. But the next question, is there people in more than one of these vehicles? And if the answer is yes, the magnitude is switching to high. So from middle to high, just depending on this question, because we need more resources to this event. I will go into the emergency medical system also, and this is actually quite new. We implemented, developed it in 2018. It was introduced in 2021. And its name is STEP. It's developed by SOS Alarm together with Kadi, a Danish company, and the regions involved also, of course, in this work. And we go first to the basic incident, 112 incident tree, and starting by choosing the relevant node for emergency medical services. And then we got a lot of questions. And as you can see, this is not built in the same way as the fire rescue services tree are. This is newer, so it's more modern. So the first question is around who is calling? Are you a private citizen or are you a nurse or something? And the next question is around the age of the patient concerned. I mean, this is quite, I have some pictures. There are more pictures to show about the whole flow, but I will reduce it to a couple of pictures. And this is also depending on what answers we do get, of course. Is it the patient himself or herself calling? I mean, that is important. You have to know if you are talking to the person who is ill, or is he or she referring to an ill person. Level of consciousness. I don't remember what these letters stand for. I'm not a call taker anymore, but this will lead further into the emergency medical decision tree or question tree. And here you can start with advice if necessary. In this case, it's he or she is unconscious, but not any problem with the breathing. But if there would be a problem with the breathing, we can start with the CPR already here. Yeah, that was actually the picture showing that. And we have immediate threat of life. You can choose by some of these: limb teared off, threatened breathing, high energy trauma or penetrating trauma or blunt trauma, or no, there's no immediate threat of life. This is the last picture. How many seconds do I have? 2 minutes more. Okay, all right, all right. I have lots of time now. I can back and start from the beginning. Now, some advice. I mean, we chose to do it ourselves this time, but there are lots of good products on the market. I know that. So you have to choose if you want to start from scratch or not. And if not, I mean, there are there are certainly partners you can team up with. There are products on the market. But a good move is to involve people from the emergency medical services, from the fire rescue services, from the police, sea air rescue, of course. But the problem, on the other hand, is that you can't involve them all. We have 21 regions who is answering for the emergency medical services, 290 municipalities. It's quite impossible, but you have to find the right, choose from maybe rural, urban, and so on, so you get a good average of the regions and the municipalities you are using the system for. So be smart. Too many cooks spoil the broth. If you don't know what it means, you can look it up. And of course, you must involve call takers and dispatchers in this from the beginning also. If you just set the product on their screen and they will start to use it, they will not be happy about it, so involve them. And be ready to handle criticism. I mean, probably both from internal and external sides, because everything new is a threat and not used to it. So be prepared and for it. As I said, realize it will never be complete. You have to adjust it. You have to be flexible about it. So don't think that this is ready. Now we can leave it and do something else. You have to look into it all the time. And I think the last one is quite important. When we introduced the first fire rescue service question tree, it actually was like the operators, the dispatchers, the call takers, they stopped thinking themselves. It didn't say so in this plan, so I didn't do it. So you have to always think for yourself. This doesn't exclude that you have to do education and training, of course. So that was it. Thank you.